Welcome, guys, to another episode of There Will Be Expletives. I am Jeff.
I am Ron.
And Ron, this is otherwise known as the most worthless day of the year, because it's the day before Civil War comes out.
It's May the 4th. It's Star Wars Day.
I love Star Wars, but have you seen that trailer, man? Have you seen that thing? It has Spider-Man in it. It's fucking spoiler alert, man.
Fuck Star Wars, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. No, I cannot tell you how excited I am for that movie, because obviously I was already excited for it. Then the fucking Spider-Man trailer happened.
Oh my god.
And then it's like every time like you're in the middle of it rewatching the previous movies,
yeah,
like you get yourself even more hyped up, because over the last couple of weeks I watched Cap 1, Avengers, Winter Soldier, and Ant-Man again, and it was the first time I'd seen Ant-Man since the theater, actually.
Yeah.
And it's just like, especially with Winter Soldier and Ant-Man, like, and obviously Avengers, but like the best of the Marvel movies get better every single time you watch it, and it gets me more and more and more fucking pumped, and I cannot put into words how excited I am.
Of what I know, I'm not going to say anything, but it's a good thing you watched Ant-Man again, apparently. That's all I'm going to say.
I cannot fucking wait.
Because I was going to throw in Ant-Man just for shits and giggles, but evidently it's a good thing you watched it again.
I wanted to watch it again too, just because I loved it, and I only got to watch it the one time in theaters.
But yeah, no, dude, you've got tickets for, see, this is Wednesday, so you got tickets for tomorrow.
I'll be seeing it tomorrow night at like 7:30. So
I'm going at 3:50 on Saturday.
And I will spoil everything tomorrow night for you.
Nah, I won't have a phone. I'm calling AT&T tonight.
Fucking Spider-Man showed up. Fucking spoilers, Jeff. God damn it. All right, we'll start out some movie news.
Stole that guy's pizza. It's like my favorite meme right now.
All right, let's get this movie news started. Ron, first up, bit of a bummer. We have been championing for Daisy Ridley as our girl, Lara Croft.
Our bow and our rifle.
For a while, yeah. Shameless plug. We've just we've wrapped up recording our Tomb Raider sequential. All the videos are not out yet, so man, it's a bummer. I was really, really hoping, and
How did she not?
They made a big deal about her recently being up for it, and it looked like it was all going smoothly.
Okay, if you had a movie that was in development hell for years, and then the biggest fucking name in Hollywood drops in your lap to play the role.
Well, it's a little hyperbolic, but she is a big name right now.
Well, she may not be the biggest name, but she is right now the most current household name.
She's like the it girl of the moment.
Yeah, everybody is talking about her, is what I mean.
Yeah.
All right,
she's had one role,
and there's very few people that don't know who she is.
Everyone knows who she is. She's been in one movie.
Yeah.
And she's right now, every time I go on Collider or Nerdist to prep this podcast, it's like every week at least 2 or 3 projects she's being talked about for.
Right.
It's crazy.
So you had a movie that was in development hell since the original game came out in 2013, I believe it was.
Well, this has actually been in development hell a lot longer than that, because you remember, like, they had the Angelina Jolie movies that didn't go over well. Mm-hmm. They've been trying to reboot it even before that new game kind of like resold the brand to a lot of consumers. And especially unless
she decided she's too busy with Star Wars, there's no reason they shouldn't have picked her. She was Lara Croft all through Force Awakens.
Maybe their script sucks.
Maybe.
But, okay, the thing about it, though,
surprise me.
is I actually do feel bad for the actress, because the actress they went with, okay, like, let's say this casting announcement had been made last November, before Daisy Ridley was a thing. This would have been pretty cool, because the actress, it's Alicia Vikander.
I don't even know who she is.
She is the big Oscar-level it girl of the moment. She is... My favorite role of hers was actually Ex Machina. Do you remember Ex Machina?
I remember. I never saw it.
She plays the android in it, and
that's the one that knocks off Appleseed, right?
What is Appleseed?
There is an anime movie. There's 2 of them. There's Appleseed and Appleseed Ex Machina, and there was a movie with an android that looks identical to the one in Appleseed, and I think it was the director said that they directly pulled that design from that anime.
I have no idea. The actual movie, though, was written and directed by the guy who did Sunshine and 28 Days Later, I believe.
Okay.
It's the one where Donald Gleason, Brandon Gleason's son, is basically he's at the retreat.
This is different.
He's at the retreat. It's basically like an episode of Black Mirror almost. It's fucking. I think you would really like it because it's a cool little sci-fi movie. Well, she plays the android character.
It sounds a lot like the one that fucking White Canary made. That's on Netflix right now.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Chappie's what I'm thinking of. It directly ripped off the design.
I never got to see Chappie either.
From Appleseed.
No, but Ex Machina is a cool little, basically, like, could have been a Black Mirror Christmas special type of thing. You know, like the Black Mirror movie.
Right.
It's really cool. Very, very good acting in it. She plays the android, and she sells being an android almost as well as Fassbender did in Prometheus. Like, she's fantastic in it. She's really, really good actress. You actually did see her. She's actually the female lead in Man from U.N.C.L.E., who's with the two guys.
I vaguely remember that movie. I just remember the one scene that you said was your favorite.
So Alicia Vikander is, you know, a really, really good actress, and it's just a shame that it's not that this is a bad pick. It just wasn't the best pick, in my opinion. Like, yeah, because like you were saying, since it's in such bad development hell, what they really needed was positive buzz, and like Daisy Ridley would have gotten them a lot more positive buzz and feedback and, you know, word of mouth going around than Alicia Vikander, regardless of how great an actor. Like, she just won an Oscar, and it wasn't even for Ex Machina, which she also could have been nominated for because she was that good. So like, they did a good job picking this actress. It's just they didn't. I think they could have done better.
Yeah,
but who knows? Maybe like once we get a look at like.
The first trailer will tell us.
Well, not even just that, but I'm just talking about like from Daisy Ridley's perspective.
Yeah.
She literally is being talked to for, you know, like movie after movie after movie after movie. So if she's being offered, Tomb Raider would be a cool franchise, doesn't exactly need a franchise when she's got fucking Star Wars.
Right.
So maybe she wasn't as interested as we were all interested in seeing her do the role. You know? We will never know. If they fuck up the Tomb Raider movie after that fantastic game is just a movie already on a silver platter.
Right.
If they fuck that up, then they should just give up on Tomb Raider.
Seriously.
Because that 2013 Tomb Raider game is already a great movie.
If they fuck up the movie, the only other way they should do it is like some kind of series or miniseries, that like Netflix style.
I don't know. This is just something. The only chance in hell that Tomb Raider movie has is pretty much if Warcraft or Assassin's Creed take off and they put more money and better writers behind it, because like the director was even like a no-name guy, right? Like, it wasn't.
I think so, yeah.
Do you remember we reported it was like a no-name guy who just happened to say he liked Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah, basically that was the feel they wanted to go for, which is not the tone of that game, by the way.
No, it's much darker.
But yeah, it was just real quick while we're talking about it. Roar Uthog?
Yeah, it was like a Swedish guy, I think.
Yeah, Norway.
Basically showing that it's not exactly an A-list property for them as a studio.
Yeah, and
I
then
don't know. I'll still probably...
The screenplay is Evan Dartery, which Snow White and the Huntsman, and Divergent, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the current one.
Ouch.
So, yeah, no, a good thing she left now that I know that. By the way, The Machine is that Katie Lotz movie.
Okay. I like Katie Lotz, probably.
That sound, Ex Machina sounds a lot like that movie.
I think you would like Ex Machina. You'll have to check it out at some point. Let's move on to the next topic, though. We got some more female lead to get to.
Is this the Idris Elba one?
Yep.
Okay.
It's the Stephen King adaptation from his novels The Dark Tower, which I'm all over because it's fucking Stephen King, who I love, and it's a sci-fi Western with horror elements, which is all just Jeff Crack. So Idris Elba's the lead, so you and I are already there opening weekend regardless. Yep. And then with the cast, they have now added as an unspecified character, yet people are expecting her to be the female lead because she's so popular at the moment.
Right.
Katheryn Winnick, who I don't think you've seen any of Vikings, have you?
Nope.
She, I have only seen a little bit of season 1.
I've seen 50 First Dates. That's what she's known for on IMDb.
Her screen presence on that Viking show against, you know, like she's literally playing against these huge fucking just menacing looking dudes.
And she's like half their size. I'm looking at the picture.
She's half their size, dude, and she plays it like, dude, you're afraid of her. She has like a really, really good presence to her.
She looks scary.
So
I mean, fucking look at
that. Not to mention she's stunning.
Yeah.
So she's like,
that helps.
She's gorgeous. Also can play a badass. And people behind the scenes are actually talking her up for Captain Marvel too. So we need to probably keep an eye out for that one, because I think that would actually be some really good casting.
I like that better than J-Law. No offense to J-Law. I think she's a good actress, but
they need to go more unknown.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've not said who she's playing. People believe Katheryn Winnick will be playing the female lead. This is a book that I own. I just haven't gotten a chance to start yet, but it's Stephen King. Their script at least has to be good because Idris Elba signed on to it, and Idris Elba can pick whatever project he wants.
Do you have a physical copy of that book, or is it?
It's physical, yeah.
It's physical. After the movie comes out, I'll probably want to borrow it from you.
I can't wait. So, yeah, like I was saying, that script at least has to be good, or Idris Elba wouldn't be attached to it, because Idris Elba is basically the it guy of the moment, how he can do about whatever he wants. So I'm excited.
Much.
I'm excited for this. Also, I don't know if we reported on it previously, but I went ahead and just figured I'd bring it up. In Dark Tower, they also added Jackie Earle Haley, Rorschach.
Okay,
And
I knew the name.
Love him to death.
I was sorting all the faces in my head. Yeah, dude, fucking love Rorschach.
Yeah,
he was also Freddy Krueger.
Yep. And that movie wasn't that good, but I actually liked his performance as Freddy Krueger. He brought,
which is sad because if another rendition of that movie comes on that's good, they'll never use him because he's attached to that one.
Yeah,
but
it's a shame. You know, like he brought it closer to like the first Nightmare, and I think
you could tell just in the trailer that his performance in that role was pretty good.
He made him more threatening and menacing. He wasn't like, I think people might have been a little bit upset because the first movie is very dark, and the sequels all made him like over time funny, just because that's how horror movies went in the late 80s and early 90s.
Right.
So I think people were kind of expecting that type of tone, but what they did, and I would have done the same thing. They brought it back to the original, which was the best one. So,
yeah.
But the movie around him wasn't particularly great. But it's fucking Jackie Earle Haley. So like, dude, Idris Elba, Jackie Earle Haley, her, like, I think Dark Tower is gonna be really cool.
That sounds like it's shaping up to be a really cool.
I cannot
really
wait.
Cool thing.
and I just like Stephen King works in general. He's one of my favorite writers, so I'm excited for it. Let's see. Next up in the movie news, this one we can get through real quickly. I don't know if did you even see this image that got tweeted out?
No, I didn't.
There's literally not much to see. Chris Miller, who's one of the directors from the Lego Movie, who is now co-directing the Han Solo spinoff film, tweeted out a pic of just Han Solo's blaster, basically saying they're about to be starting filming. So obviously he waited till May the 4th to release it, but what I found interesting about it is he's talking about them starting filming pretty soon, but they don't even have Han Solo casted yet, at least officially. So,
but goddamn, they got his blaster.
Yeah, goddamn, they got the blaster ready.
Nice.
So I'm thinking at this point, if they're getting that close to filming, it almost has to be that Hail Caesar guy, right? Because that's been the only name floated around, really.
That's the last thing anybody's heard, I believe.
What I'm expecting is when they do, I don't know if they have one this year, but I'm assuming they have to have some type of either Star Wars celebration like they did last year, which was like a Star Wars Comic-Con almost, or at D23. It's one of their events this year. I would imagine they're probably saving the casting news for that.
Yeah, it'll probably be D23.
Yeah, I obviously I think those two dudes with Han Solo are just absolutely perfect. Like, it's gonna be very charming. It's gonna be funny.
By the way, genius way to make D23 relevant. No one gave a shit until Disney bought everything.
Did you also see that Fox pulled out of Comic-Con?
Did they really?
Fox, because of quote unquote piracy concerns, dropped out of Comic-Con.
Is it that, or just the fact they don't have anything to show?
It's just crazy because
Deadpool 2 is still in pre-production, so they don't have anything there.
Marvel leaving gave them and Warner Brothers the DC stuff as silver platter to own the headlines.
Yeah,
and they pulled out of the convention. It's only Fox.
Because dude,
Fox.
there's no Marvel and no Star Wars at Comic-Con anymore.
Yeah. So
that is ridiculous.
Chris Miller and Phil Lord, the two Han Solo directors, were previously attached to direct The Flash. And then they left the project, and they brought in Seth Grahame-Smith.
Yes.
We've talked about that when he was announced as a director. Well, now they've lost him.
That movie is seriously scaring me.
So, what was crazy is, because when they first announced him... Okay, first of all, I was a little skeptical just because it was his first time directing.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit scary. But what brought me around on him was he's the writer of the Lego Batman movie. And those trailers for that, with his dialogue and stuff he wrote for it, are gold. And perfect for what they desperately need, which is the Flash to be funny.
Yes.
Goddamn, they need some fucking jokes in the DCEU.
Especially how dark everything's shaping up to be.
And
right now, the most lighthearted character has been Wonder Woman, and she was not lighthearted.
Because she didn't kill anybody, and she's the only person who hasn't really killed anybody.
And she actually cracked a smile once or twice.
Yeah. So yeah, this movie is straight up development hell. So you go from Miller
it's
and
one of the biggest properties that has not Batman or Superman level, but it's the Flash, especially because of CW. It's one of the most recognizable
with
stuff.
the CW show right now at this moment. It is probably. I mean, obviously, Batman is a bigger moneymaker, but because of reception and reaction to BVS, their most popular and beloved character at the moment right now is the Flash.
Yeah,
because more
so
people.
How do you fuck this up?
So they go from Miller and Lord, who are attached to literally everything.
Yeah.
To Seth Graham-Smith, which was like, it's a little scary just because he hasn't directed, but it could be cool. To now no one, and the movie comes out in 2 years. It's looking sketchy.
I'm very concerned.
Now, what I'm hoping happens is that. What happened with Ant-Man is because we had the exact same reaction with Ant-Man, because Ant-Man went through development hell similar to this, because originally Edgar Wright was attached to it. He literally left the project at the 11th hour because they weren't going to let him make the movie he wanted. They were going to... What Marvel does is they bring in people who are big-name directors to the point where they can make a good product, but they're not big enough to where they can basically walk on the studio and say, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And Edgar Wright has a very specific flavor of movies. You've seen, like, with Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
When you're watching an Edgar Wright movie, you know you're watching an Edgar Wright movie. Outright. Like, Scott Pilgrim, totally Edgar Wright. So... I'm hoping a miracle happens and they bring in the perfect guy at the 11th hour and saves it, but with their track record... Not looking likely.
Yeah.
And
well, here's the thing. Like you've said before, Marvel had to earn the right to make an Ant-Man movie in the first place. And I am a lot less worried when I hear one of their movies going through development hell. Because,
that's a good point.
Because when your worst movie is Age of Ultron, which still, on some level, still enjoyable, but it has a lot of problems.
It's just... Marvel syndrome. It's like their stuff's so good that it makes it look super bad by comparison.
Exactly. You compare that movie to a lot of other movies, and it's the strongest thing, but not compared to their other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything besides Man of Steel that I really liked from the DC stuff so far, and they've got 2 movies that have killed all of my excitement for everything except for Wonder Woman. And I'm hearing this, and I'm like, maybe I'll just stick to my CW. I don't know.
Well, no, we'll still be watching it.
We'll still be watching it.
It's just,
it's just like...
what? Okay. Basically, what this screams...
When you fuck up a movie that has Lex Luthor, Batman, and Superman, and Doomsday all in it,
you had to be trying.
And Wonder Woman...
You'd be really trying hard.
You have to be, I don't understand how you fuck that up. And then, we can't even get the Flash down.
Well, okay, here's basically what this...
Someone call Berlanti.
Yeah,
I mean,
they first of all they needed a Kevin Feige, who Greg Berlanti, as you and I texted about after that was brought up on Nerdist as an idea. I was like,
duh.
He's in the building because he's there executive producing the TV department for all of their fucking CW DC stuff.
Someone go down the fucking hall and talk to him.
So if I was,
hey Greg, I could really use your help on this.
If I was the head of Warner Brothers, Jeff Johns and Kevin and Berlanti would be the co-Feiges, basically.
Yeah.
Of running everything. I like how Feige is like a title now of Hollywood. But it's true.
Did you imagine that on someone's desk, like it has their name underneath it, it says Feige?
And we owe basically Kevin Feige and Favreau for all of the Marvel stuff because they had to fight to get Robert Downey Jr. attached to it. The studio did not want him, and they had good reason to. Robert Downey Jr. had literally not done anything in like 10 years.
Yeah.
So they really had to, put their ass on the line for that movie, and it set up, what, $6 billion of revenue, roughly? Like, Avengers alone made, like $1.8 billion or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So, yeah, this scares me, but I'll obviously be watching it opening weekend because it's The Flash, and I love The Flash. The Flash is probably my second favorite DC character.
I just have a feeling we're going to be sad walking out of that theater.
Man, it's gonna be a real shame. They have even more,
Grant Gustin's just laughing.
Now, this is what I've been saying the whole time, dude. Everyone was freaking out when they said Gustin was not gonna be a part of this. I was like, you are fortunate that he's not associated with this, because they would have fucked up that TV show for nothing. They can't even get a director down for it. And that's the other thing. Marvel, people actually want to go and work for them. Why would you want to go and work for DC right now?
I have no idea.
Yeah. But yeah.
We can save them.
Let's talk about a DC movie that's probably actually going to be a good run, and that is Batman: The Killing Joke. We don't have anything else to talk about it other than it officially has a release date, August 2nd, which is I think like maybe the week after Comic-Con, because that's where it's first airing. Yeah. Cannot wait. Trailer looked great. Love it. Love the comic. I think it's going to be great.
Is out of curiosity, is that going to be big enough to get like a Fathom event or something we can get tickets for?
It'd be cool, but I doubt it.
Damn. I mean, they did it for Bleach, and that was just an anime.
It's true, and honestly, they could use some positive publicity around Batman at the moment, but it probably won't happen. No, they actually did. They did release A Mask of the Phantasm in limited release.
Yeah.
Which, how cool would that have been?
Because I saw it in theaters.
Like, you did?
I did.
Oh, really? I never got to see it in theaters.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous. But did you ever hear the story about how Mark Hamill went to go see it opening day at the theaters? And then he was like sitting kind of in the back of the theater, and it was like him and like one other family that went there, because I think it even opened like Christmas Day or something.
Yeah,
or
it was around the holidays.
Around the holidays, and he said, the other family, and they were like noticed him and recognized him, like, holy shit, we're watching this movie with Mark Hamill. Great story. Look it up on Google, see if you can find it, but it was a great story. So yeah, August 2nd, check it out. Probably going to be awesome. The DC animated stuff rarely lets us down. If only the live-action movies could have the same track record. Okay, we got one more movie news article to get through, and this one's pretty interesting to me. So, the Russo brothers, who are the directors of The Winter Soldier, and now Civil War, and the upcoming Avengers Infinity War movies, are basically going back on previous information they released about the Infinity War movie specifically. So, and this was all during conversation about them basically pimping out Civil War out on tour for it. So, when Infinity War was announced, it was announced as Part 1 and Part 2. And the thing about it is, I think they're trying to get away from the stigma that shit like Hunger Games and Twilight and Harry Potter have done to the whole Part 1 and Part 2 thing.
Right.
Because so far, have any of those actually worked out well for Part 1?
I understood it for Harry Potter, because a lot of shit goes down in that book.
If you have an 800-page book, you can do that.
And if anything else deserves to be able to pull that off, I'm okay with Avengers trying that. But that's not what they're doing, right?
That's exactly their point. Okay, pretty much, here's their quote. This is Anthony Russo. "It's misleading, which means that a title change is on the way. The intention is we will change it. We just haven't come up with the titles yet, but yes, we will change it, and yes, that is a scoop. We will retitle them." Okay, so originally they were titled Part 1 and Part 2, and they were saying that kind of leads it to, and we even talked about it, like, it leads you to think they're it's like one 4 or 5 hour long movie, and there's going to be a cliffhanger in the middle. And they were saying now it's a misleading title because they're looking at it as Avengers 3 and Avengers 4. Yeah. So they're going to retitle them because they don't want people to have that preconceived notion that they have because of shit like the Hunger Games. Also, Harry Potter has the right to earn that. Who the fuck thought it? Twilight, out of 4 books, didn't have enough story for one movie, let alone 4 or 5.
Everyone I know that enjoys those books, when they announced they were breaking up the final one, they were all like, why? Like, none of them saw any reason to do that. And then my wife, when they did that to Hunger Games, and I told her they were doing that, she was like, nothing happens in that book. Why would they do that? I was like, money.
It's the only reason.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Hollywood is actually realizing that we're onto them as far as that being ingenuous and it's only for money.
Yeah.
Because
dude,
Hunger Games too. Hunger Games.
Those final Hunger Games movies were god awful because they had to stretch it out. And there was nothing to stretch out.
They had like Walking Dead syndrome.
They were god awful by Hunger Games standards. Like,
they're even the second one I actually liked.
But
other than that, I mean,
Part 2 of the final one, there's a scene that you would love. Just in case you ever happen to check it out, I'm not going to say what it is.
I plan to eventually. It's just one of those things
we're
like,
every time we talk about that, you're like, no, I plan to, but I have this and this, and then the list always gets longer.
Oh yeah, if I get to it, it's going to be a long ass time, and I'm not against checking it out. I'm just obviously, like, it's been out for like 2 years. I just have no interest. I feel like
next time that she makes me go through a marathon of it all, you should just come over.
If I'm drinking while I'm
see what all the hype's about, Jeff.
Fucking Hunger Games. It frustrates me when shit like that is so unoriginal and it becomes like this juggernaut. I mean, it's just painful. And it's not even like it's a good ripoff either. I don't think they're that entertaining.
Yeah.
The second one's good. It's okay, but it's something to like. There were people cosplaying for that shit.
Yeah.
No. You cosplay.
Although, if you're on a shoestring budget, it wouldn't be that hard.
But I'm saying you cosplay for Avengers. You don't cosplay for fucking Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, we're getting totally off topic. I don't even know what. Okay. So I think this is a smart idea because I'm also part of the group who are annoyed by these part 1 and part 2 bullshit. Now, granted, I didn't have an issue with them because it's fucking Avengers.
Yeah.
But it is smart of them to do this because it's not. There's no reason to make it part 1 and part 2 because they're not like a book. It's just gonna be 2 different movies. They just happen to be filming them back to back. So what I think is actually going to happen, I think the first one's going to be Avengers Infinity Gauntlet, and then the second one's Avengers Infinity War. I think that'd be a good way to basically show that they're leading up to each other and combined.
Now, you and I had a theory before that no matter if this was actually part 1 and part 2 or 2 separate movies, because we've talked about how we know it's 2 separate movies, but you and I had a theory going that no matter what goes down, they're going to lose at the end of the first one. And
it's going to be their Empire Strikes Back moment.
Yeah, they're going to lose, and that one of them is going to die. You still think that?
At this point, they almost have to because of the way the contracts are working out.
Yeah. I still say Cap.
I'm going to fucking cry because there's a very good chance it's Cap because it makes sense.
Yeah.
If they ever had the cojones to kill Tony Stark, dude, could you imagine the reaction?
We already know they're not, but if they did,
no, you really don't though, because these movies are coming out in 2018 and 2019.
Oh, Spider-Man 17.
Robert Downey Jr. is on a basically movie-to-movie contract extensions. It's not like he's on the books for 10 years.
But they already kind of killed him once, ish. So
yeah, I mean, true, but. We really don't know. That's actually kind of cool about it.
If they did, I guarantee it'd be his idea.
What's really cool about this, I think, is that these movies have been good enough for such a long period of time. They actually can kill off important characters in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Because let's say they killed Captain America. Well, they've already had Captain America for 3 movies plus 2 Avengers films plus these are going to be more Avengers films.
Yeah.
So he's already gotten a good run out of him as Captain America.
And he's supposedly quitting acting to start directing full time.
Yeah, he's been talking about that. He really likes directing.
He's already directed one movie that came out several months ago now.
But I mean, Chris Hemsworth is Thor. He's done quite a few movies for them. He is not quite as marketable as a Tony Stark for them, so they can pretty much kill any of them. Hulk, that would be if Thanos' thing is he just straight up kills the Hulk, and that's the ending of your Avengers 3. Holy hell, dude!
Right?
Holy fuck!
It just pans over everyone's faces and their expressions and goes to credits.
I've actually this is my friend Taylor, who I used to work with at the theater. This has been a couple of years back. I don't know if they'll kill the Hulk, but I've always told him because we've talked about what they do because he's a big Thanos fan.
Yeah,
I've basically talked.
Really? I've never met a Thanos fan. I've met a Darkseid fan.
He loves Darkseid, and it's Marvel Darkseid, and that's good enough for him.
So he's a Marvel boy and likes Darkseid, so there you go.
Yeah, basically. So I've always
Sorry, that just caught me off guard. I've never met a Thanos fan.
He also likes Josh Brolin a lot, so that helps.
Yeah.
So I've told him, I'm not saying they're going to kill the Hulk, but I can almost guarantee you the first thing you see Thanos do is backhand the Hulk. Because they have to do what they did in Justice League Season 1 of the cartoon. Is the first thing that always happens to establish how badass the villain is they beat the shit out of Superman.
Right.
So what you do to establish that, holy fuck, we have a battle on our hands, is he's going to backhand the Hulk or something bad. Because it's also a cool parallel.
I think the Hulk will be out of commission in some way, whether he's dead or not. I think that he's actually going to go down one way or another. Because like you said, we know what they can all do. But especially for general audiences that aren't plugged into anything, that have no clue who Thanos is, they need to make a statement. So
I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Especially what's really cool about this too.
I love how you're chomping at the bit for Civil War, and you're like, I can't wait for this one. Fuck Civil War. I can't wait for this one.
I still love my Civil War, but I'm genuinely excited for these, mostly because I love these Russo brothers, dudes. I just watched Winter Soldier again over the weekend. That movie is just about flawless. I cannot think of a single thing I have no even minor complaint about it. It's fucking excellent. Well done.
I thought there was a moment where he takes so much fucking damage. Like, oh my god, they're gonna kill Cap right here in this movie.
And it's
Like-
those. And what's crazy is like those dudes literally came from Community. Their
Yeah.
only directing was the writing and directing a sitcom, and to go from there to there
To that.
plus. Like, the Winter Soldier action was already awesome, and now they're like, oh yeah, we brought in the John Wick guys as the action consultant
Yes.
group and second directing unit, and then my mind just... Because my two favorite movies from that year, because I told you I've always kind of done rankings, like, not actually a part of like a podcast or blog, but just kind of at the end of the year, just for fun, kind of would like look back and what I thought was maybe my top 5 for the year. My top 2 favorite movies were Winter Soldier and John Wick. So you tell me all of those dudes made a movie with fucking Black Panther and Cap and Spider-Man and Iron Man. My nerdgasm all over the place. But yeah, I've been geeking out too much about this, so we need to transition over to TV. Was there anything else you wanted to add to the Infinity War news?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I want them, and I want them now.
Right. Well, something else we have been wanting right fucking now is a Punisher TV show we're on, and now we are finally getting the green light for it.
Why did it take so long? We all knew it was happening.
Basically,
I haven't even seen Daredevil season 2 yet, and I knew it was fucking happening.
So, okay, basically, the reason it took so long is because this was the first thing they had to add outside of the Netflix batch order they did. Do you remember they did 13 episodes for the 4 individual shows and then the 13 for Defenders?
Right.
So this was the first time they actually had to go back and negotiate and get a new actor down on contract. So it took a little bit, but now we finally have a full 13 episode order for Punisher. Fucking finally.
Yes.
And I think it's gonna be fantastic. The showrunner is one of the main writers from Hannibal. Hannibal was a pretty well done show.
I never saw it.
Very dark. Works for fucking Punisher.
Yep.
So I'm stoked for it. They don't have a release time frame yet, but I would imagine. So next is Luke Cage, and then it's Iron Fist, and then it's maybe Defenders or maybe Punisher. It kind of depends on if they want to include him in Defenders as far as where they place this. Because what I think is going to happen is that they want him to be a part of the Defenders. They're going to have, after Iron Fist, they're going to delay Defenders and then do Punisher beforehand. The other thing is if it may be too late in the game for that, and maybe they already have Defenders prepped, I think what this will be is basically like the Ant-Man was to Avengers Age of Ultron. It'll be like an epilogue type thing.
Right.
You'll do Defenders, and then all of the characters from that are basically enduring like fallout from that huge event, and then you have a separate character kind of separated from the rest of them, how Ant-Man was with Avengers 2, Punisher could be for Defenders.
It could be pretty cool if Defenders happens, and then Punisher is like putting out their fires. You know, something like that.
You got to watch fucking Daredevil Season 2, man.
I know.
Bernthal is so awesome, man. So awesome.
I can only imagine. I know this. The internet in unison loved him. They unanimously loved him. And that does not fucking happen. So, it had to be good.
I probably watch Daredevil Season 1 or 2 again when Luke Cage comes out. Even though it doesn't fucking make any... it makes no sense to do that. I just fucking like that show. I want to watch it again. All right, something we want to watch, but we'll probably never get to watch, is CBS No Access's Star Trek run. I literally put that in the notes for the podcast.
Did you really?
Yeah. I put Star Trek begins filming this fall over at CBS No Access.
Nice.
Because fuck them.
Yeah, no, I don't get it.
So,
I mean, how is that a thing? How is that No Access thing a thing? Does anyone even give a shit about CBS?
What's kind of funny is it's so mismarketed, because the only reason CBS has all of those number one drama and number one comedy is because the people watching that shit are all over the age of 50.
Yeah.
They're not exactly going to go and fucking pay them more money for shit like Star Trek.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense. All you're doing is alienating people like you or me who are interested and who would give them money via watching their goddamn commercials.
Yeah.
And we can't because it really irritates me.
I mean, if they're going to do something like that, it makes more sense for me for it to be on like Prime or something. But
I'm at a loss for words because it is so stupid. It is absolutely it's idiotic and all. It's just I don't even know what to say. They also are working Twilight Zone, and I love the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
So they're just literally dicking around sci-fi fans.
Yeah.
So I will be watching this, but I will not be paying them. So if that tells you anything.
I'm at least seeing the pilot because that one is actually airing, not streaming.
I stand by what I've talked about previously. I really hope their ratings just colossally tank from episode 1 that they air to episode 2 to the point where they're like, oh shit, we just have to put this on the air.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, why?
You know what I think is going to happen? When it finishes online, it's going to air because they're not going to be happy with the numbers.
Okay, if it's successful...
It's the wrong audience.
Exactly. It makes no sense. The people who like CBS are those fucking people who are still watching shit like 2.5 Men who are in their 50s who don't know any better.
What do they have NCIS? What do they have?
They have the 35 NCIS shows. Do you
enjoy NCIS? Here's Star Trek.
They have CSI. They have shit like that. Yeah, it's painful. But yeah, we've talked about this multiple times before. So let's move on to the next topic, Ron, and this one's actually pretty fucking cool.
This is cool.
One of our favorite movies so far this year has been 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, and one of our favorite shows.
It's fucking Black Mirror, dude. It's like...
Now, what do those two have in common, Jeff?
Now they have a director. So Dan Trachtenberg will be directing an episode of Black Mirror. So what's crazy about this, too, is when I thought about it after I read this article, I was like, 10 Cloverfield Lane is closer to Black Mirror than it is Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Because, like, man, you talk about, like, it's good performances, it's dark, it's, like, a personal story.
It hinges solely on the performances. There's nothing else in that movie.
It's very personal storyline, you know. Yeah. Cloverfield, like, was basically like an event film. And 10 Cloverfield Lane was a character film.
Yeah.
Black Mirror is typically driven by the characters within a sci-fi concept. So, like, this was pure Ron and Jeff crack. Cannot wait for that fucking Netflix Black Mirror batch to come out because that shit will be binged opening weekend for me. I'm stoked. I will be in fucking therapy after that much Black Mirror depression.
I want to try to get Chris started on it, but we're skipping the first episode until later.
Do you remember when I told you to get into it? I was like, no, start with episode 2.
Yeah. I watched 1 first, but
yeah, dude, what a ballsy thing to open your show with,
right?
Fucking brass cojones on Front Street to open with the pig episode. Which, if you haven't watched it, that's all I'll say. But if you are squeamish,
I used to like bacon.
If you are squeamish, maybe go on to Netflix to skip to episode 2. I'm just saying. Also, don't they have the Christmas special on now with John Hamm?
Yes, they do.
I think that's also a good entry point, actually, because that kind of shows you... Obviously,
For anyone that doesn't know, and we're saying to skip around, they're not interconnected episodes.
They're all...
They're standalone stories.
What it is this a modern-day Twilight Zone that is turned up... It's like modern-day Twilight Zone done by HBO. It's incredibly dark, incredibly brutal.
And it's not like Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, or Tales from the Crypt or anything where it's like scary either. It's what can happen when there's too much technology or it's too intertwined in your life. And some of that shit, dude, like the bicycling episode, like some of that shit hits right at home.
Oh, I wasn't even kidding about the therapy thing. Like, I was genuinely bummed out by some of their episodes to the point to where I had to stop binging because I was like, I can't take any more of this right now. I need to go
I need to lay down.
I need to lay down and play a video game or something.
And then you picked up Dark Souls and killed yourself.
Got the Jeff hanging in his closet. Yeah, but man, I cannot wait for that Black Mirror show. But speaking of Dark Souls, Ron...
will not be binging it, but I cannot wait for it.
All I'm saying is maybe check in with me every 3 hours when that comes out that weekend. But yeah, Ron brought up some Dark Souls, and we almost need to play... We need to play little taps, Ron, I think, because this is a little depressing. So... It is official, Ron. The Soulsborne games are officially dead in the water.
Even Born? I knew Souls, but even Born?
So, it's not any surprise that Ron and I, one of our absolute favorite games is anything from the Souls series, because that was our very, very first sequential. Some of the most fun we've ever had just screwing around playing video games was recording Dark Souls. And Hidetaka Miyazaki, the president now of FromSoftware, the developer who has made all of the Soulsborne games, has now said Souls is officially done. they're developing a new IP. So there is not a Bloodborne 2 going out. He basically said to basically squash the whole idea going around that the next game was just going to be Bloodborne 2 and they were going to continue the Soulsian type of game.
Right.
He said, no, we're not doing any sequels or spinoffs. We're developing new IP, and their next game is going to be... It was cool.
Any odds that it'll play like the Souls games, probably?
Well, okay, you actually probably have a more fully rounded experience from them as a software company because you've actually played Armored Core. I have not, and that's them too.
I have every game except one up to Armored Core 4, so I'm only missing like 3 or 4 games.
So,
from
and that was
them
like
all.
a mech series, right?
Oh yeah.
So, are there any similarities between that and the Souls games at all?
Not really. I mean, maybe a little bit in the controls, but gameplay wise, it's entirely different.
So,
but they did kind of redefine the mech genre because up till then everything was like Mech Warrior or Earth Siege or Star Siege, where everything was kind of slow moving and everything. And they did make a spinoff of Armored Core that was the older style game. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Mr. Poe was actually a big fan of that one. But anyways, it was more just like, think of any third-person shooter you've ever played, but it was a mech game. That's exactly how they play.
So, I'm thinking, like, okay, people probably want them.
I would like them to revisit Armored Core. I'm hoping if they're developing a new IP, it's something along those lines because Armored Core 4 just killed the franchise for me.
That bad?
Yeah, it was bad. But also, I wonder if going back now, what I would think of it. Because, you know, it was one of those that, like, you had to switch your weapons with triangle, and one button did this, one button did that, and you had 4 weapons and a blade. You had 2 on your back, and 1 on each arm, and then a blade. And Armored Core 4, just all of a sudden out of nowhere, left bumper was left arm, left trigger was left back, right bumper was right arm, right trigger's right back, and you could never fucking get the weapon you wanted when you wanted it, or whatever, because now instead of having to remember, you know, tap, 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 pull, or whatever, you're trying to remember where you actually placed the fucking weapon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was, and if you're in a mech game with that much customization, it was a fucking nightmare because you were constantly moving stuff around and forgetting where you put it.
Yeah. I think this isn't going to be anything like Souls, because if they were wanting to make a game that plays like those games...
Why not just do Bloodborne 2?
Why not just do Bloodborne 2? Because the amount... I know you haven't really watched much of Bloodborne. You maybe watched a little bit of EMB play it, I think you said before.
I watched a little bit.
So I haven't played it, but I watched it basically in its entirety through a couple different Let's Play channels on YouTube. So he put about as much attention and detail into that storyline as he did Dark Souls 1. It actually has the most expansive storyline as far as...
How exhausting does that have to be?
I don't even know. All those fucking item descriptions.
Everything is so complex.
So,
story mode
I think it is going to be just completely off the rails from what they've done previously, and I think that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I'm sad it's ending, obviously, because it's that and Uncharted are probably my favorite series.
But it's not like Assassin's Creed.
Exactly. Literally the next game that was coming out of my mouth was either going to be Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty. Because what they did is the last 3 years we have had a Souls game, counting Bloodborne. We had 2 Bloodborne and then Dark Souls 3. So they're not whoring it out, even though they totally could get away with doing that. Because they could basically, those games have gotten so popular, and the people who play them are so addicted to them.
It would... The problem with whoring it out, though, because the gameplay is so similar between them all, it would very easily become the Call of Duty of RPGs. So I kind of understand.
Oh no, I appreciate that's what I'm saying. It's cool that they are ending it, but they could have gotten away financially doing that for a while.
Yeah.
They could have probably made 4 or 5 more yearly titles of that and still made bank.
Yeah.
So for them to say, we're leaving it where it's at, we had a great time making them, we love those games, but we want to try something different, all about it, because I didn't want to happen to him what happened to Kojima, where they locked him to a fucking chair, the Kanazis, for 30 years writing Metal Gear games, and the guy just now got to fucking leave, and they tried to shit all over his reputation in the process.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that FromSoft is not the Konazis. They didn't whore out their property, and they're making something new. And guess what? I'll play the shit out of it. I'll at least check it out because it's a FromSoft game. They have now made me a fan of theirs just from the Souls games. So I think it was very smart for them to do this, because the two fucking things I hate the most in the gaming industry are how Assassin's Creed was making a fucking title every year, how Call of Duty was doing that every fucking year just for money.
Yeah.
Because that was the only reason. Thank God Assassin's Creed finally learned. Call of Duty sure as shit didn't. Don't you want to play Infinite Warfare, Ron?
Oh, God.
Does that not sound like a fucking mobile game?
Dude, not only does it sound like a mobile game, but it perfectly describes their entire franchise, Infinite Warfare.
Never ending. Call of Duty, Infinite Cash Grab.
The video game industry is the new war profiteering because they're all like Call of Duty and Battlefield and all that.
Yeah. I am sad, but you know, at the end of the day, dude, we can always go back and replay some fucking Dark Souls if we want. Those games will always be there.
Even after playing 3 for so long, because depending on what room I'm in, I'm either playing Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 3. Because I have Dark Souls 1 in here on my computer and Dark Souls 3 on my PS4. And Dark Souls 1, I mean, it holds up. We just did a whole sequential of it.
Yeah, that came out 5 years ago.
And even after playing 3 for so long, I can still just jump on 1 and play. I'm a hell of a lot better at 1 than I am 3.
1 is a little bit more arcadey because the controls are more forgiving.
Yeah.
Which they had to do that over time, because if it was the exact same mechanics and you and I could go into Dark Souls...
People like Ian B would just steamroll.
Yeah, like, I mean... even you and I can go back on 1 and like parry murder spree everybody.
I was going to say, right now I'm steamrolling my way through on my other character.
Especially when you go back after playing 2 and 3, after they had to make it harder, more forgiving, because people who were into the first one played it fucking 300 hours worth and got so good to where you can just parry on command. And they had to make it harder because Dark Souls should be pretty fucking boring if you could just steamroll it, you know. And those games are for the difficulty. So yeah, whatever they do next, I will at least check it out because I'm not a fan of theirs. I really, really appreciate Miyazaki being able to walk away from something that is, you know, it made his name.
Yeah.
So it's ballsy for him too, because he is and will forever be associated now with Dark Souls. So not only that, he went from the writer and director to the fucking president of the company. It's pretty cool.
Some of the Armored Core games actually have a fairly decent story, but they're still kind of ambiguous, not to the point of Dark Souls. I'm really hoping that they revisit that franchise, especially with him in charge.
I bet depending on how successful the new IP is, if the new IP comes out and it does okay, but not what they want, they'll probably make another Armored Core game.
I hope it's not like Freddy's World or something. Something stupid like that along those lines.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a question. With Armored Core, was the story presented in a more standard gaming format, or was it in the background where you have to search it out like Dark Souls?
It was in between.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is the premise is you're a raven, which is a mercenary, and the world, there's no more government. Governments have collapsed ever since a big-ass war that ended...
Ever since Trump was elected?
Pretty much. There's a big-ass war on Earth, and Earth is barely even livable. You can't survive on the surface of the planet. So everybody is now underground, like Zion in Matrix, basically. And there's no governments. It's all ruled by corporations. And then there's entire cities that are just, the only government is the corporations. And the corporations that rule these things make... I am blanking on what they're fucking called. There's armored cores, and then there's another machine, and the other machines are standard issue assembly line machines that just everyday people pilot if they work for these corporations. And then the armored cores are what Ravens have, and they're completely customizable, and they all make different parts, all these different companies do. Well, here's the thing. In your screen, you get missions from these different companies, and the way that story progresses is you may have two missions to select. Company A is having you assault Company B, and the other one is Company B wanting you to assault Company A, and depending on which one you do, the other one disappears, and it opens up a different branch of missions. And when you beat the game, all missions become available, and you can go back and revisit.
So,
but
was there a dialogue?
Not really.
So similar to the Souls games?
It's all like email and messages that you read. And some people just look at the objectives and go. But Armored Core 2 was the first one that I ever really played. And it's my favorite one still out of all the other ones. But it actually has more of a story than any of the other ones do.
Okay.
And if you start playing it, I would start you out on that one. Because it was a reboot of the franchise, kind of. It was on PlayStation 1 for 3 games and kind of fell away, and then it came back. So
how did it do difficulty? Was it pretty unforgiving like the Souls games?
It could be pretty unforgiving, and here's the funny part. If you die within a certain percentage of completion, like if you die like 5 times within the first 20% of the game completion or something like that, they upgrade you to make it easier.
Whoa, that's not FromSoft that I know.
Yeah, what would happen is there's a property in the game that some of the people you fight are called Human Plus, and they are humans that have been augmented Deus Ex style, and they can do things that you can't. Like, number one, you have weight limitations on your Armored Core. If you're overweight, you can still function, but maybe you don't move as fast. You use a lot more energy using your jets to jump. You probably can't fly at all, stuff like that. And you basically cripple your mech. Well, you no longer have weight limitations, or it upgrades all kinds of stuff. It upgrades your armor, and it upgrades everything because they're just like, yeah, you suck. Here you go. Play the game now.
It's pretty cool. Like
there's also a certain point in the game. It's like after maybe 50 or 60% completion, you die. Well, when you die, you just lose, and you go back to like your garage or whatever, and you can reattempt the mission. And after so many failures, that mission disappears. After a certain point of completion in the game, you actually get game over instead of going back.
Huh.
So it's like, by now you should be good, noob, and then they just end your game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So this will be the first original FromSoft IP since he's the president now too, Miyazaki.
Right.
Because I don't even think he was the president yet for Bloodborne. So now he actually has kind of like overarching control over everything. So I cannot wait to see what this new IP is.
And that's why I said I hope they end up revisiting Armored Core
with Miyazaki,
because now that he's in charge, everything comes across his desk.
Man, he can, with his eye for character design too, they can make some cool ass. Well, okay, we're just quick, like couple sentences on their
fuck you.
On their enemy design. Like in Armored Core, are you fighting like ever kaiju style stuff, or are you fighting just other mechs?
You're fighting other mechs and other ravens, because sometimes another raven shows up that was hired by the other company for defense.
I can almost guarantee you, if you took over Armored Core, just to get in his crazy-ass monster designs, they would bring in kaiju.
Probably.
And it would be cool, because could you imagine fucking basically Miyazaki Pacific Rim, how terrifying they would look?
Dude, I would fucking love that.
That'd be really cool.
The last thing I'm going to say is the one thing that they keep bringing in every game that's fucking fantastic is 8-Ball. From the very first Armored Core game, there is a red and black AC, which is an Armored Core, that just strikes terror into you every time you see it. And it shows up even in Armored Core 2 at one point.
A little bit like Patches as in the Souls games.
Yeah, like
recurring asshole.
Every time you'll just be like, some of the games, it's just like a simple escort mission. Like 3-4 minutes, you're done. And then like at the end of it, or like halfway through it, all of a sudden you just see like an AC in the distance in a cutscene, and it like pans up from the feet up, and you're like, no, and they all have a sigil on their arm, including yours. Yeah. And as it pans up, it's just an 8-ball on the arm, and you're like, no.
Apparently, one of the other things that plays throughout all the games and always appears is the Moonlight Greatsword. So apparently, if you went back and ever played him, you'll probably catch like, holy shit, one of the blades is the Moonlight Greatsword, because that's one of the recurring things too.
Is it?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, but it's sad, but it's also exciting, because we'll have to see what they do next. When they eventually announce that for E3,
it feels kind of like Breaking Bad. Like when Breaking Bad ended,
I want more.
Yeah, you're like, I want more, but thank God they ended it here.
Yeah, it's a catch-22.
Bittersweet.
Yeah. So, and Ron and I every year do a full E3 show. So eventually when they have more word out from that'll probably be the first fucking thing we talk about, because my two favorite series right now are Uncharted and the Souls games. So I want to see what they do post-Souls. But if you'd like to check us out more, make sure and like and subscribe. You get all of our content, Let's Plays, commentaries. If you're interested in Game of Thrones, Ron and I are doing every Sunday night a full reactionary show to that.
So much fun.
Tonight's Watch. Go and check it out. At least for the amazing logo that Ron's wife Chris developed, because it's gorgeous.
Straight out of our graphics department.
Awesome, yeah. She's the greatest intern we've ever had. We have social media links in the description for Facebook and Twitter. And if you know anyone else, friends or family-wise, that you think might also enjoy us, we'd really, really appreciate the share. All right, I am Jeff.
I'm Ron.
And let's go play some Dark Souls, Ron.
Fuck yes.